Hello, everybody. This is the Starving Martian, and, well, you know that I'm a bit of a sci-fi aficionado, but a man usually has more than one passion in life. Aside from that, I am also a huge Pac-Man fanatic. I grew up with Pac-Man. Him and I are only about a year apart in age. I've always thought of him as kind of a brother figure, if you will. I've seen him through the good and the bad. We've both gotten married and had kids, and yeah, I don't know. I play Pac-Man almost daily in one form or another, be it the original classic or some of the updated versions. Pac-Man to me is more than just a video game. He's a friend. He needs to be taken out and exercised and fed daily. Otherwise, he gets bored. Can't have that. And so, naturally, throughout my life, I've been collecting little bits of Pac-Man memorabilia. And I thought today we do something a little bit different, and I'd show off some of the more rare, old, vintage Pac-Man items. Alright, now as with most of the things I show on this channel, they don't make these anymore. So if you want one, you're going to have to either get lucky and find it at a flea market or something, or scour eBay, Amazon, that kind of thing. So let's get right to it. This, of course, what you're looking at right now, which will be the backdrop for our video, is the Pac-Man album. This is a record album. And what you're looking at is actually the record itself. Um, no lie, if you've seen record albums, you know they're usually just a black disc. But this bit here is the record. It's decorated, and I imagine after several go-arounds on the record player, it would start to scratch, and you lose some of the picture. But this one's still sealed. There's a slight flaw here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the wrapping is kind of peeling off right there. But considering the age of this thing, that's not anything major. Picked this up really cheap. It was like $10 or less, and basically it's songs about Pac-Man. You can find it online if you really want to listen to it. The back of the album would look like this. This is just a picture on the cardboard sleeve, but this is actually what the back of the album looks like as well. So it's a great record album. It's suitable for framing, and it's a really nice part of my collection. Moving right along, one of the earliest handheld video games I ever owned. Here is Pac-Man. Um, for a size reference, this is my hand, so it's bigger than my hand. This is what a handheld game used to be. It still works. I forgot whether it's C or the D cell batteries, huge batteries it takes, but it does still work. You get this tiny little screen here that lights up blue. It's got a crack running down it. Like I said, I've had this thing since I was like 5, and it's ancient, but it still plays. It's got your on-off switch, your difficulty setting, and your direction pad. And yeah, that was handheld gaming back in the day. Here is my Pac-Man telephone. This thing is awesome. If you didn't know better, you would never guess it was a phone. But it does have phone jack right there in the back. And when you open it up, there you go. Your numbers you dial, you speak into. There's a speaker there, so you hold it up to your ear, and you're talking to Pac-Man. It's pretty cool. I had this when I was a teenager. And I kept trying to get my girlfriend at the time to call me up and say things like, waka waka waka, woo 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 woo. Yeah, helpful hint, guys. It's not the best way to impress a girl. Coleco put out a bunch of these little Pac-Man figurines, PVC figures. And here's Miss Pac-Man. There's a Pac-Man one as well, a regular Pac-Man, which I had as a kid, and unfortunately I've long since lost. There's an Angel Pac-Man for some odd reason. And then there's these two lovebirds here, Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man. This is actually based on a game. There's a video game called Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man. I believe it was a pinball game. So it's one of the few Pac-Man games, sadly, I never got a chance to play. And yeah, that's what they look like on the artwork on that game. And I also have, still in his package, Blinky. So you can see it's the official Pac-Man by Midway. Collectible arcade figures for ages 4 and up by Coleco. And there he is. Oh, get me out of here! The back of the box, you can see what I was talking about. That's your regular looking Pac-Man. There's your Angel Pac-Man. And I still don't know where the Angel Pac-Man idea came from. Oops. Knocked over the misses. Alright. Going back in time a little bit further from that, we have these Ben Cooper Pac-Man figures. This is a crazy looking guy. But this is basically what Pac-Man looked like on the side of the arcade boxes. See, back in the early days of Pac-Man, all he was a little yellow circle on the screen, and nobody knew what he would look like in real life. And so there's some weird interpretations. This is one of them. On the cabinet, if you ever saw the old cabinet, it's just what you just kind of imagine him without arms. Yeah, and that's kind of what he was portrayed as. Those eyes are terrifying. There was also Ghosts that Ben Cooper put out. Here's Inky. There was a Blinky one, which is the exact same thing in red. And my Inky still has his tag on him. See, Pac-Man from Midway and Ben Cooper Incorporated, Brooklyn, New York. They were very proud of their brand name there. Speaking of old Pac-Man that don't look like Pac-Man, here's one with teeth. This is a terrifying looking Pac-Man. And he squeaks. Come on, Pac-Man. That's not what you would picture a Pac-Man sounding like. But this is an official product. You can see his name, Pac-Man, embossed on his back. But yeah, look at them chompers. If I was a ghost, I'd be terrified if this thing was coming at me. If I was anything, I'd be terrified if that thing was coming at me. There's also a line of Pac-Man wind-up figures. Here's one. And you can see there's a ghost in his mouth. That's Clyde. So you wind him up, and let's see if we can get him running for you. Come on. There we go. Come on. So you can see his feet moving and his mouth chomping, and that ghost has no chance. And there was also a Miss Pac-Man. Same basic concept. She's got Inky in her mouth. So there's Miss Pac-Man. Wind her up and she gulps, gobbles, and wiggles around. She's got cute little shoes and the biggest mouth in town. Wow. So you're setting yourself up for a lawsuit, I think, for that. She's not going to be too happy. And the Ghost Monsters, as they were called at the time. Wind up the ghost and watch him go. He'll catch the Pac-Man before you know. So there's Blinky again. You can see here they did make an Inky. I had the Inky as a kid, but again, like the little dude, I have no idea where that was years ago. And you can see it's originally sold in Kmart for $1. So if you can remember either Kmart or times when toys were $1, there you go. Back of the box shows the other figures in the line. And of course there was also stuffed Pac-Man. Again with a ghost in his mouth, a tiny ghost or a huge Pac-Man. And this one has a t-shirt on that says, "Hungry for you." And there were 3 of these. 3 different styles, rather. Each had a different color t-shirt with a different saying. This is the one that I've got. He's very nice condition. Put out by Knickerbocker. But he's still fuzzy, he's still bright, and cheery, and just a wonderful addition to any Pac-Man collection. Let's pull this back. And Now we're going to take a look at a couple classic vintage cartridges. This is the infamous Atari Pac-Man that everybody hates. I had it when I was a kid, and I enjoyed it. Um, I didn't get out to the arcades very often. So most of the time when I was playing Pac-Man, it was on that handheld. And so this was definitely a step up for me. So I have fond memories of this game. And whether or not you like the game, you have to admit, this sticker art is wonderful. I love Pac-Man's look there. So that's in my collection. Here's another Atari game. This one received somewhat better. It's also got some nice artwork, but I don't know. The artwork on that one is not as iconic to me. It's a little boring. But it definitely shows what you're getting in the game. And of course, a little bit newer, but Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures. I just love this sticker. I don't even own a Sega Genesis, but the Nintendo version doesn't have him on a hang glider, so I had to pick this up. That's great. Ah! Alright, so did you guys know that Pac-Man was the first video game character to get his own cartoon? This disc itself is not retro, but the cartoon inside is. It's a 1980s cartoon from Hanna-Barbera. I'll be the first to admit it's not terribly good. But it was very influential. Like I said, it was the first time a video game character had his own show. And it influenced the look of Pac-Man for a while. He would wear that hat, for example, in Pac-Land, and on the cover art for the NES version of Pac-Man. I do like the way they did the discs inside. Look at that. Classic. This you can pick up online. And they actually never put these out in stores. These were pressed to order. I guess they weren't expecting a whole lot of people to want one. They put it out in 2 volumes. I only own one because, like I said, it's not terribly good. But it was popular, I guess, at the time. I have here a big sticker, Pac-Man Saturday morning on ABC TV. And yes, I framed my Pac-Man sticker. Judge me if you will. But there he is. And one of my absolute favorite pieces of my collection, a Pac-Man car. It's die-cast metal. Now you can see there were other figures in the line. There's Pac-Man, Pac-Police, Miss Pac-Man, and some random Pac-Dude. They were all on the show. And the box is great. You get the picture of the ghosts as they appeared in the show. There's Sue. One of the rare appearances of Sue here. She was in the show, but she never got her own figures or anything. The box, when I got it, was opened. So we can take him out. Get a little bit closer details. And there's Pac-Man on his Roadster long before Mario Kart was a thing. And, oh yes, almost forgot the Miss Pac-Man tapestry set for those of you who are a bit more artistically inclined. A little bit crafty. And we're going to close on an unofficial Pac-Man product, but one that is very near and dear to my heart. This is a handmade wooden Pac-Man toy with little spinny wheels. This was given to me on my 2nd birthday from an aunt and uncle. They found it in Germany when they were traveling. And yeah, so I grew up with this. It's the oldest toy I own that I owned as a kid. And when I said I grew up with Pac-Man, I meant it. This thing's been with me since, year 2. Isn't that sweet? And so, even though it's an unofficial product, it has a place in my collection and a place in my heart. Well, this has been the Starving Martian, guys. Next time we'll probably be getting back to some more traditional sci-fi stuff, but I wanted to take this opportunity to share some of these classic vintage Pac-Man stuff with you. If you want to see more of my Pac-Man collection, let me know. Otherwise, we'll just get back to the aliens and whatnot. So until next time, guys, this has been the Starving Martian. Waka waka waka.